Yeah.
Won't you just come my way?
Come in.
Baby. Won't you just take your time?
Okay.
Hello everybody, this your girl Mo. I'm back with another video. Another video. Hey guys, how are you guys doing? In this video, I am going to talk about being bullied. Yes, I'm going to talk about being bullied. I'm going to talk about how people can be really mean and what does bullying do to your mental state, okay? So before I start this video, I want to say like, subscribe, and comment below. So like, subscribe, and comment below. Yes. So in this video, let's start with the conversation about bullying. Here's the story. Okay, so I remembered when I was younger, in elementary school, in New York, I would get bullied. I used to always wish and dream, like, I hope one day, I can have a sister. Because I feel like all the girls that was in school with me, they had siblings. Like, their mom had, like, older siblings and, that went to school, in the school. My brothers were, like, way older. They were in high school when I was in elementary school. So the girls would walk to school, after school, walk with their family members. So I always wished that I had siblings. They used to, like, make fun of me. They used to say that, trying to make fun of my forehead. Like, if you see me standing, they used to say, like, your head is, like, smushed in like Eve, like the rapper Eve and stuff. They used to say that Eve is gorgeous, but I used to, like, feel really bad. They used to say, oh, you got a big old forehead. So subconsciously, when I got dressed and I, wore certain outfits, I would be like, man, my forehead all the time. I've always felt like that. And they came from elementary school, what they would say to me. They would make fun of me because I was African. So at that time, that was the African booty scratcher thing was really a big thing back in the day. They used to call girls or African girls, hey, you're African booty scratcher. You're African booty scratcher. And when my mom would come to parent-teacher conference, she had like a thick African accent. So they would laugh at me and make fun of me and try to like belittle my mom and say that she can't really speak English or she's stupid or stuff like that. And it would make me feel really bad. I used to start telling my mom, don't come to the school or nothing, just because it made me feel bad that they would talk about her like that. And it would make me feel bad that she would be have to be in that type of environment, and then I would have to go to school and hear about it for weeks on and weeks on. Almost so it happened so much so that back then I used to tell people I wasn't African. It was better to say, yeah, I'm Jamaican than to say I'm African. I started like hating me being just African. I used to like tell people that I was Jamaican, although I wasn't. Because it felt like it was much easier telling people that I was Jamaican versus telling people I was African, because they would make fun of the African girls at school. I would separate myself from the girls that just came from Africa in elementary school. So the girls or the people that just came from Africa, kids, whatever, they would have like a thick accent, and they just would need help with the location as far as like different classes and such, as if any student, or they would need help as far as communication wise, because it was a language barrier and getting translated from the Africa to the US. So I could help them. I could have showed them different things, but I did not want to be the victim of being extra bullied. I was already getting bullied. At the time, my dad was still in Africa. My mom had me and my brother here, and they used to bully us. I remember after school, I used to hold my brother book bag, and my brother used to go to school at the high school, and he would have to fight every day after school just because we were African, and it wasn't like Caucasian people fighting us. It was black people fighting us, because because we're African. Black people wanted to, a lot of the African American people were really like mean to us and wanted to fight us, and did not, made fun of us and used to make Kunta Kinte jokes and such. They used to like try to say do sounds like that and say, oh, that's how you guys sound, and make fun of talk about my mother and stuff when she would come, because she was African and she was proud of it. She did not care how we felt about her being African or how anybody else felt. She was standing in it, and she's the reason why I'm such a proud African woman until this day, because she was always just so very proud of her roots. But back then I used to really feel really bad because they used to make fun of us because of that. There was one of my friends that I fought her, and I got into like a big fight with her in the middle of the street, and me and her fought really. She was when me and her stopped being friends, she started bullying me too. So after school, when I would be walking after school with my brother, they used to like bully us, you know, like call us names and say African booty scratcher, hey, you little African, and stuff like that. Or they used to say, you know, do your mama know how to do hair, you African, and stuff like that. And it would hurt me and my brother's feelings really bad. And it got to him so much so that he had to fight. I think that my brother had to join like a gang in order to defend us, in order to protect us, you know. The black people and the African people, which is really silly because we are all black people, but African people and the black people in our was like kind of against it, so against each other. So the African people formed with other African people, and they had their own little gang or whatever, or you know, that they would run with. And back in New York, Staten Island, kind of where Wu-Tang and them grew up. I grew up on Stapleton. Back then, you know, my brothers got down with a gang and was fighting. It was this African and black thing back then. And even when I came to Minnesota, there was still, and when I was in high school, still this African and black thing going on where there was beef between, you know, I think it's the lack of understanding or the lack of communication. You know, there was a lot of fighting going on and you had to choose. I gained a couple of Black American friends, you know, African American girls who gained, you know, were friends with me, who had loyalty to me and were my friends. And that would create issues for my friends that were Africans when I came out here. Because as you can see, I don't have like that much of a thick accent. But when I first came from Africa, I had a real thick accent. I really, you know, talked like really like with a thick accent, you know. And for a while, I was afraid to tell people, like, I came to America when I was like 4 years old, you know, 4 years old. I'm not born here. When I was a little girl, I used to like pretend or tell people that I was born, you know, because I was in New York. I was born here. I was born here. I was born here, because it'd be so much easier for people to not make fun of me. The African jokes would stop and I wouldn't be like the butt of the joke or whatever. So I would tell them I was born here, when in actuality, I came to America when I was 4 years old. And like a lot of people, you know, flee in war in our country in Liberia. So, but back then I was just so afraid of being bullied. You know, after school they would throw things at me. They would throw water bottles at us. They would throw candy wrappers at us. They would, you know, even in school, you know, my auntie Catherine came from Minnesota when we was living in New York and had to fight on the street because they were bullying. She saw and witnessed that, and she remembered what happened with her when they bullied her. You know, there was like a big fight or whatever, big disagreement, that she wanted to defend these girls that were getting bullied. And I wish that was my concept. You know, I wish mentally I thought that. I just was like, oh, just stay out of reach. You know, try to not be seen so that they can't make fun of you. You can't be the butt of the joke. You can't be, you know, you can't be the African in the room or whatever, because they was looking at it at a negative things. I remember people legit used to ask me, do they have elephants in Africa? Do they have like, and I was like, I came when I was 4. I don't know. I don't remember that, you know, but they would use that as a form to put me down, you know. All people like say, oh, you don't look African. Are you sure you're African? You don't have the African look. And then it would make me say, well, how does Africans look? You know, like how do we look? Do we like, what would make me more African for you? You know, help you to get comfortable with who I am. You know, that's so like, it's so dumb to say that, but you know, that's what was being said to us. It would be heartbreaking when people would put us down, or the African girls, African boys, just because we can't control. You can't control being African, just as much as you can't control being Black American, or the white people can't control being white, whatever. You can't control that. That's out of your control. You can't control these things. So for somebody to like down you, or like, you know, try to be mean to you or belittle you because of where you're from or what you are, when you kind of are born that way and you don't have that, you know, say so to say, hey, no, you know, I don't want to be this. You don't get to choose your race. You don't get to choose the people that are your family. And for somebody to judge you based on that is crazy. And even your features, when they make, oh, your features is this, you that, oh, that forehead, that you must be from Africa because look at your head, you got a big old forehead or whatever. And then it makes you feel like, I can't control that. I wish I could take away the forehead to please you, but I can't. This is who I am. This is who I wake up every day as, and I have to be comfortable with myself. And that's why I'm so strong on my daughter. Like, I tell my daughter, like, you so beautiful. You're so gorgeous. You're so perfect. I tell her all the time she's perfect. She's a beautiful little Black girl. She's amazing. She's all these things, because I remember how hard it was. Not only me being African, me being Black, it was me being African as well, you know. They used to like down talk me, and I used to worry when I had to go to school, you know. I remember that these girls came outside of my house, was outside of my house trying to fight me, knocked on my door and told my mom one time when I was in elementary school, tell your daughter to come outside. And my mother was like, this is America. You know, ain't no fighting my daughter. My mom called the police on them girls, and I'm glad that she did. But she did that and to protect me. And every day, like, it was just because I was African, like, it was my fault. Every day talked about, every day put down, every day, you know, and it was coming to a point where I was so afraid to be that. It wasn't until I came to like Minnesota, really honestly. My mom took me out of my elementary school, put me in Catholic school because they bullied me that bad, you know, talked about me that bad, made me feel that bad that she was like, no, I need to protect my daughter. I need to take my daughter, you know, away from all these things or whatever, because it's taking a big toll on her emotional health, you know, her mental health, her emotional health, everything. She's just always down and sad, you know. Even like when it came down to liking boys and stuff, to certain boys that would go for you or like you or try to pursue you, it would be like, oh yeah, be careful because she's African. Apparently they felt back then like, oh, we acted different because we were African. We believed different. We carried ourselves differently because we were African. Now I use that as a badge of honor. I'm super proud of being African, you know. I can say, yup, I'm African. Yup, I am an African girl. Like, oh, you're African American. No, I was born in Africa. I am an African woman. I am an African woman that's in America. You know, I take so much pride in that, you know, because they got people that take ancestry tests to figure out their village or their, you know, trace their roots. And I know where I come from. I can go to Liberia and tell you guys what village I came from. I can tell you guys the hospital my mom born me from in Liberia. You know, I can trace my roots back. It's not no like nothing connected to that, you know. My great-grandmother, I have all of that information. I don't need no history test to tell me any of that. I don't need none of that. If they did that, that'd be great, but I don't need any of that to, you know, validate where I come from or who I am, you know, and it's a blessing. And back then I didn't see it as that. I saw that as, you know, I was cursed. Why, Lord, why did you make me African? Lord, why did you, you know, because it would be that. It would be like a cultural thing, you know? And then when you come from Africa first, they put you in like these special ed classes because they want to teach you different things. And when you get in these special ed classes, they just assume that, you know, you are just uneducated. They just assume that because you're stupid or you're dumb, you know, and that you get made fun of for even being in special ed classes. Oh, you in special ed, you in a special class, and, you know, make fun of you because of that. And you can't. These are things you can't control. You take a test, they tell you where you're at, you know, and things that are here are different from things that are in Africa. So when I say this, what I'm saying is that in Africa, they got different fruits. In Africa, they got different vegetables. They got different, you know, meals and different things of that, different times of the day, different things like that. So it's different for Africa, and here is different for anybody. So when you come here, you got to relearn, like get used to the environment, get used to the different foods, which you guys call different things, and the different cultures. Even people who are Hispanic are here, people who are Mexican, people who are Indian. Mexicans are part of Hispanics. But I'm saying different people who like come from different cultures, India, whatever, different cultures are here. So you have to get used to that versus being used to like one specific culture or whatever, and how things are. You know, the diversity is heavy in the United States versus in Africa. It's not much diversity, just like minor, but not really a big wide range of it. So that's what you have to get used to here. So it was really, really hard being bullied. Till this day, like, it stays with you because you start looking at yourself and you start saying like, yo, what's wrong with me? Am I this? My forehead big? Am I ugly? Blah, blah, blah. You know, any of this. And I want to teach my daughter to love herself, because if you love yourself, can't nobody make you feel less than. You have to have that at home. And I didn't have, like, my mom was a single mother at first before my dad came from Africa. So I didn't have that strong family unit to begin with. So it was okay for people to tear me down and make me feel bad about myself, and I would believe it because I didn't already have that strong environment. Like, if somebody called me ugly, I go home and I tell my mom that, she'll be like, whoa, I can't believe they said that. When my daughter comes to me, I don't care what that person said. You are beautiful. You gorgeous, sweetheart. You're amazing, sweetheart. I tell her that because I want her to know these things, because there was nobody around to tell me these things. And because of that, I was being disrespected, mistreated, and I allowed a lot of negative things happening in my life just because I got bullied as a child, you know? and that bullying stays with you. It's like that, it taunts you, you know. It's like a constant taunting, people constantly saying bad things about you, constantly putting you down, constantly making you feel bad about who you are. And you can't go through life like that. It's like you want better, you know. You want to be happy, you want to be in a good place, joyous and all of that. So when people constantly put you down, and you being African and it's not something you can control, definitely breaks your heart, and it makes you feel less than. So I definitely understand. This is my bullying story. I hope you guys like it. I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. Please like, subscribe, comment below, and no. Yes. Bye-bye, guys.